Did you know that Dwen Wade's son, Zaire, is facing the pressure of living up to the legacy of an NBA legend while building his own basketball path? From Ice-T's son, who stands out on stage with Body Count, to E40's son, DroE, who is building his own music empire, these father-son comparisons will make you think. Below are 20 famous African-American father-son pairs at the same age. Drake and his son, Adonis Graham, make an interesting pair when you compare them at the same age. At around 6 years old, Drake was just a small boy growing up in Toronto, Canada, living a fairly normal life, far from the fame and wealth he has today. Drake's parents divorced when he was 5, and he lived with his mother, Sandy Graham, in the city, while his father, Dennis Graham, lived in the U.S. Drake often talks about how this shaped him, giving him the motivation to succeed and make his family proud. At that age, he probably had no idea he would become one of the most famous rappers in the world. Now, looking at Adonis at the same age, Adonis has already become the center of attention thanks to his famous father. At just 6 years old, the boy has appeared at NBA games, attended events, and even featured in Drake's music videos and on social media. Adonis is growing up in a life of luxury, but what's notable is how Drake tries to balance this with being a loving and involved father. Dwen Wade and Zaire Wade. When Dwen Wade was in his late teens and early 20s, he showed tremendous potential on the basketball court. Growing up in Robbins, Illinois, life was not easy for him, but basketball became his escape and passion. By the time he was 20, Dwen had begun to make a name for himself at Marquette University. He wasn't the superstar we know today, but his talent, hard work, and determination were already evident, laying the foundation for a legendary NBA career. Now, looking at Zaire at the same age, he grew up in an entirely different environment, with the success of Dwen providing him with opportunities and resources his father could only dream of at that age. By the time Zaire reached his late teens and early 20s, he had pursued his own basketball career. He played in high school, impressing with his skills, and even had a stint with the Salt Lake City Stars in the G League, a step forward in his dream of playing professional basketball. Juvenile and young Jav. Juvenile, whose real name is Terrius Gray, was born in 1975 in New Orleans and became a famous rapper known for his unique style and storytelling ability. At 19, he began his career in the tough rap scene of New Orleans. His debut album, Being Myself, released in 1995, showcased his raw talent and real-life experiences. At that age, he was a member of the group Hot Boys, which included major names like Lil Wayne. His connection with Cash Money Records helped him rise to fame. Juvenile's son, Young Juve, is also a rapper and is currently 19 years old. Unlike his father, Young Juve was born into a world where his father's name was already famous. This brings its own set of challenges and expectations. While Juvenile had to build his reputation from the ground up, Young Juve must live up to his father's legacy and carve out his own name. He uses social media to connect with fans and share his music, which is an important part of how artists promote their work today. Juvenile's early music was influenced by the tough circumstances and street life of New Orleans, while Young Juve, though aware of his father's past, grew up with different experiences and his father's guidance. He faces modern pressures like growing up under public scrutiny and dealing with the ever-changing music industry. At 36, Big Hit, whose real name is Choney Hollis Sr., is navigating life with music still close to his heart, but no longer the central focus of his career. Big Hit was once involved in music and showed talent, but life brought challenges that prevented him from fully pursuing his dreams. He faced legal issues and served time in prison, which interrupted his journey in the music industry. Despite the hardships, Big Hit has maintained his love for music and stays connected to the craft, though not on the big stage. At 36, he is focused on rebuilding his life and relationships, particularly with his son, Hit Boy, who has started to make a name for himself in the music world. Now, looking at Hit Boy at 36, whose real name is Choney Hollis Jr., he is living a very different life compared to his father at the same age. To date, Hit Boy has become a renowned music producer and artist, known for his collaborations with major figures in the industry such as Kanye West, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z. His career took off at a young age, and by 36 he has established himself as a prominent figure in music production. At 33, Ice-T, whose real name is Tracy Marrow, had already become a prominent figure in the entertainment industry. Born in Newark, New Jersey, and raised in Los Angeles, Ice-T had a tough start in life. He grew up in a challenging urban environment, which influenced his raw storytelling style in music. By the age of 33, Ice-T had transitioned from a street figure involved in gangs to a pioneering force in the gangsta rap genre. Albums like Rhyme Pays and Power solidified his reputation as one of the most influential rappers of his era. The famous song Colors from the movie of the same name brought him further attention, showcasing his ability to blend street credibility with mainstream success. Now speaking about Tracy Marrow Jr. at 33, as the son of a legend, Tracy Jr. grew up in a completely different environment compared to his father. While Ice-T had to struggle and fight for every opportunity, Tracy Jr. grew up in a world of comfort but also faced the pressure of living up to his father's name. By the age of 33, Tracy Jr. had found his place in the music world, performing as an artist with his father's heavy metal band, Body Count. He has played an important role in the band's live performances, bringing his energy and talent to the stage. At 36, E40 was already a recognized legend in the world of hip-hop. Born Earl Stevens, E40 had established himself as one of the most creative and respected rappers from the Bay Area. By this age, E40 had released several successful albums like In a Major Way and The Hall of Game. He was known for his unique storytelling ability and business acumen, which set him apart from his peers. E40 not only created music but also built an empire. He ventured into business, starting companies and investing in his community. At 36, E40 had earned the respect of the industry and continued to release hits that influenced culture. Now, speaking about DroE at 36, the son of a hip-hop icon, DroE, whose real name is Earl Stevens Jr., grew up in music. By the time he reached 36, he had made a name for himself in the industry as a talented producer and rapper. DroE began producing music as a teenager and gained recognition for his ability to blend old-school sounds with modern beats. He has worked with major artists and even collaborated with his father on several projects. The biggest difference between them at this age is their starting point. E40 had to build everything from scratch, learning about business, promoting his music, and building relationships. Meanwhile, DroE had the advantage of learning from his father's experience and connections, but he never took it for granted. Instead, he worked hard to carve his own path, producing music for artists like Kendrick Lamar and contributing to the legacy his father started. When Kevin Hart was about 17, he was just a boy growing up in Philadelphia. His life at that time wasn't always bright. Kevin was raised by his mother, Nancy, who worked tirelessly to provide for him and his brother, while his father struggled with drug addiction and was constantly in and out of their lives. Kevin turned to comedy as a way to cope with difficult situations. Even back then, he was incredibly funny, always making people laugh at school and at home, but he never considered pursuing a career in comedy. He was just an ordinary teenager facing the ups and downs of life, unaware that one day he would become one of the biggest comedians in the world. Now, speaking about Hendrix Hart, at the same age, growing up as the son of Kevin Hart, Hendrix has had a very different life experience. At 17, Hendrix lives in a world of opportunity thanks to his father's hard work and success. From red carpet events to luxurious vacations, Hendrix has had access to things that Kevin could never have imagined at that age. However, what's impressive is that Hendrix remains very humble. Kevin has always made sure to teach his children the values of hard work and humility, even though they grew up in wealth. Hendrix seems to share his father's charm and confidence. While he hasn't pursued comedy, he has shown interest in creative fields like fashion and music, and Kevin often says he is very proud of his son for always being true to himself. When Anthony Anderson was 24, he was giving his all to establish himself as an actor. Born and raised in Compton, California, Anthony's journey was not easy. He faced rejection early on, even being told that he didn't have the right look for Hollywood, but he didn't let that stop him. At 24, he had just graduated from Howard University, where he studied acting and honed his skills. Howard wasn't just a school for Anthony. It was a turning point that helped him build confidence and refine his talent. At this age, he did whatever it took to make a name for himself, taking on small roles in TV shows and commercials. Now, looking at Nathan Anderson at the same age, as the son of a famous actor, Nathan grew up in a world full of opportunities. At 24, Nathan began pursuing his own dreams, following in his father's footsteps but in his own way. Nathan also attended Howard University, highlighting the strong influence of his father's legacy on his path. Unlike Anthony, Nathan didn't have to build everything from scratch, but that doesn't mean his journey wasn't challenging. Growing up as the child of a celebrity often comes with high expectations and the pressure to live up to the family name. At 24, Nathan ventured into acting and appeared in projects alongside his father. He also expressed interest in other areas of the entertainment industry, showing that he is not just the son of Anthony Anderson. At 12 years old, Omari Hardwick was just an ordinary boy growing up in Decatur, Georgia. Life at that time wasn't easy or glamorous for him. Omari grew up in a working-class family where discipline, education, and sports were emphasized. He was an active and curious boy who showed an interest in poetry and storytelling. At this age, Omari was passionate about sports, especially football and track and field. He hadn't yet thought about becoming an actor, but you could already see the creative signs in how he expressed himself through writing. Growing up in Omari's world meant focusing on academics, family values, and big dreams, even while facing many challenges. He learned resilience and determination from an early age, qualities that would serve him well in the competitive world of acting. Omari's childhood was mainly about building a strong foundation, even though he didn't know where life would take him. Now, looking at Nova Hardwick at the same age, she grew up in a completely different environment compared to her father. As the daughter of a successful actor, Nova lives in a world full of opportunities that Omari didn't have when he was young. Nova has had the chance to observe the entertainment industry from a unique position thanks to her father's career and success in shows like Power. However, despite being surrounded by fame and success, Nova was raised in a humble lifestyle. Omari and his wife Jennifer have always emphasized the importance of humility, hard work, and family values. If you think growing up under the spotlight is easy, you would be mistaken. At 27, 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, had already become a global superstar. By this age, he not only dominated the music world, but also built a strong brand around his name. After the massive success of his 2003 album Get Rich or Die Tryin', he became a household name. The raw lyrics and powerful energy in songs like In Da Club reflected the hardships he faced growing up in Queens, New York. At 27, he was not only a rapper but also a savvy businessman with G-Unit Records, fashion brands, and endorsement deals. His journey from the streets to superstardom is an extraordinary story, and he became known for his resilience and ability to turn setbacks into opportunities. Now, looking at Marquise Jackson, the son of 50 Cent, his life has been very different from his father's. Growing up as the son of 50 Cent, Marquise has had many privileges but has also faced a complicated relationship. Marquise has had opportunities that his father didn't have when he was young, such as access to a comfortable lifestyle and a strong educational foundation. However, the strained relationship between him and his father has been publicly shared over the years, with both of them airing their disagreements on social media. At 27, Marquise has tried his hand at fields like acting and business, but he has not had the same breakthrough as his father. The shadow of being 50 Cent's son brings a lot of pressure, and Marquise has often spoken about wanting to be recognized as his own person, not just the son of a famous rapper. Despite their differences, Marquise continues to show determination to carve his own path, although the relationship between father and son remains complicated. At 5 years old, Lance Gross was just an ordinary boy growing up in Oakland, California. His life at that time wasn't about luxury or fame, but family, play, and big dreams. Lance's parents instilled in him a strong sense of discipline and a love for hard work from a young age. At this age, he was probably just beginning to show signs of the creativity and confidence that would later help him become a star. Although Lance hadn't yet discovered his passion for acting or photography, he was building the foundation for the person he would become. Lance's childhood was shaped by community values, humility, and ambition. Now, looking at Lennon Lauren Gross, the 5-year-old son of Lance Gross, his life is filled with opportunities and exposure to creativity. Growing up in a loving and supportive family with his mother, Rebecca Jefferson, and father, Lance Gross, Lennon is surrounded by an encouraging and joyful atmosphere. You can often catch glimpses of his moments through cute photos and videos that Lance shares on social media. Whether it's a silly moment or a heartwarming interaction between father and son, it's clear that Lennon has inherited his father's charm and magnetism. The biggest difference between them at this age lies in their environment. Lance grew up in a humble family, dreaming of big things but not knowing exactly how they would materialize. Lennon, on the other hand, is growing up in a world where creativity and ambition are already a part of daily life. At 3 years old, Ray J was just a little boy growing up in Macomb, Mississippi, alongside his sister Brandy. Their family had a strong musical inclination and received solid support from their parents, Willie Norwood Sr. and Sonia Norwood. From a young age, Ray J was surrounded by music and performance, as his father was a gospel singer and vocal coach. His childhood was filled with love and encouragement, but it wasn't marked by fame yet. Now, compared to epic Ray Norwood Jr. at the same age, growing up as the son of Ray J and Princess Love, Epic's world is completely different. Born into a life of luxury and fame, Epic has been in the spotlight from a young age. His parents often share adorable photos and videos of him on social media, and fans love watching the moments that showcase his personality. At just 3 years old, Epic is already showing signs of being active, curious, and full of energy, traits similar to his father's personality. What's endearing about the relationship between Ray J and Epic is Ray J's active role as a father. He often speaks about the love he has for fatherhood and how his children, including Epic, inspire him every day. Whether it's playing together or simply watching his son grow, it's clear that Ray J is deeply invested and always present in his child's life. At 24, Malik Yoba was on the verge of becoming a household name. Born and raised in the Bronx, New York, Malik was a young man with big dreams and a strong work ethic. He had a passion for acting and storytelling, and by this time, he was making significant strides in the entertainment industry. In his mid-20s, Malik Yoba made a major breakthrough in the industry when he landed the role of J.C. Williams in the television show New York Undercover. This role not only made him famous, but also established him as a standout figure in television. At this point in his life, Malik had worked tirelessly to build his career from the ground up, showcasing his talent and versatility. At 29, Rick Fox was a star in the world of basketball. Born in Toronto, Canada, and raised in the Bahamas, Rick had a natural talent for the sport from a young age. By the age of 29, he was at the peak of his NBA career, playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Rick had won a championship ring and was part of the legendary Lakers team in the early 2000s alongside Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. Rick stood out not only for his basketball skills, but also for his charisma and good looks, which opened up many opportunities outside of basketball. At this age, Rick began exploring opportunities in Hollywood, taking on acting roles and preparing for a second career after retiring from the NBA. Now let's look at Kyle Fox at a similar age. Growing up in a different environment, Kyle had the advantage of being raised in a world full of privileges, with access to resources and opportunities that his father had to work hard to achieve. However, Kyle chose his own path, staying out of the spotlight of his father's fame. He developed an interest in technology, video games, and entrepreneurship, areas where he is quietly building his own identity. Although Kyle is not in the public eye as much as his father was at 29, he has carved out a completely separate space for himself. The key difference between them at this age lies in their focus. Rick was a public figure, balancing fame, fierce competition, and his transition into acting. On the other hand, Kyle pursued a more private path, concentrating on personal passions rather than high-profile careers. At 29, Terrence Howard was just beginning to gain attention in his acting career. Born in Chicago and raised in Cleveland, Terrence's childhood was marked by hardships and challenges, including a turbulent family life. However, he always had a creative flair and a passion for performance. By his late 20s, Terrence started landing roles in television and film, showcasing his talent and versatility. This was the period when he began to build his name with standout performances in films like Dead Presidents and Mr. Holland's Opus. While he was on the rise, he was not yet a household name as he would later become with roles in Hustle and Flow and Empire. At 29, his career was still in its early stages, but his dedication and hard work were laying the foundation for a bright future. Now, let's look at Hunter Howard at a similar age. The son of Terrence, Hunter grew up in a completely different environment. While Terrence had to struggle to break into Hollywood, Hunter was raised in a world of privilege, with many opportunities and experiences that his father worked hard to provide. However, being the child of a famous person isn't always easy. There's often pressure to live up to the family name or carve out an identity outside the shadow of the father. At 29, Hunter has focused on building his own path. While he didn't follow in his father's footsteps into acting, Hunter has shown interest in creative fields like music and entrepreneurship. He values his privacy more than public attention, which contrasts greatly with the prominent career of Terrence. At 15, Taye Diggs was a teenager growing up in Rochester, New York. Born Scott Leo Berry, Taye was raised in a close-knit family, with his mother as a teacher and his stepfather as a visual artist. From a young age, Taye had a passion for the arts. He loved performing and began honing his skills in areas like acting, singing, and dancing. His family always supported this interest, encouraging him to express himself creatively. By this age, Taye may have participated in school plays and community theater, exploring his love for storytelling and the stage. While his life wasn't filled with luxury, Taye's passion and strong work ethic were evident even as a teenager. This dedication eventually led him to notable roles in films such as Rent, How Stella Got Her Groove Back, and more. At 15, Walker Nathaniel Diggs, son of Taye Diggs and actress Idina Menzel, is growing up in a completely different environment, surrounded by the entertainment world from the moment he was born. He has been exposed to a life full of opportunities and resources that his father never had at that age. Walker is often described as an energetic, curious, and creative young boy. Although he hasn't pursued acting like his father, it's clear that he possesses the same expressive energy as his parents. Taye frequently mentions Walker in interviews and social media posts, proudly sharing his love and admiration for his son. At 22, Blair Underwood was a young man pursuing his dream of becoming an actor. Born in Tacoma, Washington, and raised in a military family, Blair's childhood was marked by discipline and a strong work ethic. By this age, he had just graduated from the prestigious Carnegie Mellon School of Drama, equipped with formal training and ready to take on the entertainment industry. Blair had a clear vision for himself and was determined to work hard to make it a reality. He began auditioning and taking small roles to build his resume and prepare to break into Hollywood. Although he hadn't yet achieved the level of success he would later attain, Blair's determination and drive helped him stand out. Just a few years later, he landed roles in famous TV shows like LA Law, making him a well-known name to the public. At 22, Blake Underwood, the son of the famous actor Blair Underwood, grew up in a world vastly different from his father's. He had the privilege of being raised in an environment full of opportunities and resources that his father worked hard to achieve. However, Blake is carving out his own path. He has shown interest in creative fields like music and film, but is also exploring his own identity outside of his father's shadow. At 22, Blake hasn't garnered public attention like Blair had at that age, but he is quietly building his life on his own terms, inspired by his father's hard work and success. At 21, Montel Jordan was a college student at Pepperdine University in Malibu, California. Growing up in South Central Los Angeles, Montel faced his share of challenges, but his parents always ensured he stayed focused on his studies and finding his own path. At this age, Montel was already showing signs of musical talent, with skills in performance and songwriting, though music was not yet his career. He was pursuing a degree in communications, preparing for a breakthrough journey in the world of R&B. Just a few years later, Montel would release the legendary hit, "This Is How We Do It," propelling him to stardom and making his name known to the public. At 21, Skylar Jordan, the son of music legend Montel Jordan, grew up in a very different environment. While Montel transitioned from being a major star to a dedicated father and pastor, raising his children with strong values of faith, discipline, and love, Skylar was discovering his own passions. At this age, Skylar was exploring his interests, which included a blend of music, ministry, and entrepreneurship. Inspired by his father's success, Skylar was also focused on carving out his own path. He had inherited his father's charm and creative energy, but channeled these qualities into his unique personal pursuits. At 25, Mekhi Phifer was starting to make a name for himself in Hollywood. Born and raised in Harlem, New York, Mekhi grew up in a modest environment, surrounded by the hustle and energy of the city. His big break came at the age of 19 with the film Clockers, directed by Spike Lee. By the time he was 25, he had solidified his position as a talented actor. During this period, Mekki appeared in notable projects such as I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and Soul Food, showcasing his versatility and charisma on screen. He was becoming a familiar name to the public, known for bringing depth to every character he portrayed. His success was the result of relentless effort and the ability to seize opportunities in a competitive industry. At 25, Omari Hardwick, the son of a famous actor, grew up in a very different environment compared to his father. While Mekki was building his career from the ground up, Omari had the advantage of being exposed to the entertainment world from an early age. By the time he was 25, Omari had chosen a quieter, more private lifestyle compared to his father. Although he did not follow the path of acting like his dad, he focused on pursuing his own passions and creating an identity outside the spotlight. At 13, Sterling K. Brown was growing up in St. Louis, Missouri. His life was not about fame or luxury, but about family, education, and discovering who he wanted to become. Sterling faced some tough moments during this time, especially when his father passed away when he was just 10, a loss that deeply affected him and shaped his outlook on life. Despite these challenges, he was a thoughtful and ambitious young boy. At 13, Sterling likely began exploring his love for performance, though he hadn't yet realized that acting would become his calling. He was a focused student with a natural curiosity, qualities that would later help him excel at Stanford University, and then at the Tisch School of the Arts at NYU. Now let's look at Andrew Brown at the age of 13. Growing up as the son of a famous actor, Andrew's childhood was filled with opportunities and experiences that Sterling could never have imagined at the same age. Andrew is growing up in a world where creativity and storytelling are at the center, with a father who is an Emmy-winning actor, famous for roles in This Is Us and Black Panther. However, Sterling and his wife, Ryan Michelle Bath, are committed to raising their children with humility and strong values. Despite the fame surrounding them, they strive to keep their family life grounded and full of love. So, which father-son duo surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories like this one.